The other day I had posted on social media that I was seeing a bunch of targeted ads for these trendy cell phone slings. And I thought, how hard could that be? I'm going to make one. And you guys begged for a tutorial. So today is your lucky day. I'm going to show you just how to make this minimalist sling. Now, as you can see, it really doesn't get any more minimalist than this. It's just a strap connected to my phone. But as you can see, I did add a D-ring up here, so you can loop your sunglasses as I had earlier, or you could certainly add a small zippered pouch so you can have just your essentials, you know, credit card, ID, and then maybe some lip balm or coins in here. And because we're cutting the webbing as a traditional strap length, you can use it for whatever you want. It doesn't have to be just for your cell phone. You can certainly add it to a pre-made bag that has a connection and already has an option for a removable strap. The options are endless. Alrighty, let's talk about the supplies we're going to need for this project. And first and foremost, if you've come to see the tutorial, I'm sure the number one question you have and want to know is, how is it connected to the phone? So as you can see, this one has a case on it and it's got the charging port right here. Basically, you need something to hang it from. And these I got off of Amazon. There's two different styles. Basically, this goes in your case, out that charging hole, and it's the anchor that we connect our straps to. I simply Googled cell phone tether tab and a bunch popped up. They're relatively inexpensive. They come single or they come in a multi-pack, but basically it's a very thin, lightweight, strong material with some sort of loop on the end so that we can connect it. So all you have to do is you pop off the case on your phone and then you just slide it through the opening there. This one has an actual D-ring attached to it. Either one would work. The key thing is we're going to be using a gate ring to kind of keep it all together and connect it. So once this is in, you can still charge your phone with it attached. So I just leave it. So if I'm not using it on my purse, oh hey Katie, then I just leave it like this. And then the key is the gate ring. So this opens when you compress it like this. And that gets slid through your D-ring or your loop, just like that. And then you just add any strap. We're going to do a custom strap here today, but you can do a chain. You can do anything. The options are endless, but the key is you need something to connect the strap to. That is a tether tab. Now that that has been covered, let's go over the remaining hardware. So I am going to use a 1.5 inch wide strap. So I do need a 1.5 inch wide tri-glide or strap adjuster and a rectangle ring because my swivel clasps are 1 inch wide. This works well when you have something that you can cover the ends with. If you've made my Mav Pack before or my Guardian, then you're familiar with this. This is going to cover the raw edge of the webbing and give it a really cool finished look along the bottom. If you own my Mav Pack or the Guardian, you can use that for these straps, or you can kind of wing your own shape. I know there are pre-cuts that people sell. One that I can think offhand is from Georgia Girl Stitches. She sells them in a set where this portion is 1 inch so that you can do your 1.5 inch webbing as well. So you need 2 swivel clasps for that. This is a 1/2 inch D-ring, and then, like I said, that gate ring. Today I'll be using this EcoWeld water-based contact adhesive, and the reason I am using this is because the vinyl I'm working with today has this suede-like backing. So this vinyl is one of my favorites. It operates just like actual leather in that it's thin, and because of this suede backing, it glues really well using a leather adhesive. If you're using a standard vinyl with a fabric backing, this will not work. So you'll have to use what your favorites are, whether that's a double-sided tape or maybe Fabri-Tac. But today's glue is this EcoWeld. And then this is a new piece that I created to go for the little D-ring. And I went with this shape because it keeps the thickness to an absolute minimum, and I will show you when we get to making the strap. I did cut a length of webbing, 57 inches. That is my typical crossbody length. And then from the edge of my 57-inch length, I lopped off 12 inches. So this is going to be the bottom portion and then the D-ring is going to go up here. So if you want this shorter because you want the D-ring lower towards the swivel clasp, you can adjust this length. This is just what I decided, 12 inches. So there are many, many ways to do a strap like this. This is just one of them. All right, I brought a finished strap here so you can kind of see what portions I'm talking about, what these pieces are, where they go on the strap. So this is that 12-inch shorter piece of the webbing, and then you could see there's the D-ring that was added here. Now I chose this shape for this D-ring portion, just like this, to keep this area's bulk to a minimum. So as you could see, it's just the front and back in a single layer of webbing, and then with the tab tucked underneath, then there isn't two layers of a tab, there's just the one. So it's actually very easy to sew through. Another option, if you don't want to have to kind of figure this out, which it's not, I'll show you the measurements. It is 3 inches tall. This is just beyond 1.5 inches, just so it can cover all of your webbing. And then this little tabby portion is just long enough to be able to tuck under itself. So that is 3/4 inch. So then you can just kind of wrap it around under like that, and then it's very similar to this shape. If you want to go simple, no problem. This is 1.5 inches wide by about 2 inches tall, and then you would just cut your D-ring tab. So any size D-ring you want to use, aesthetically, I like a smaller one versus a big one like 1 inch. So 3/4 inch, 5/8, ½ inch, whatever you want to do. Cut this little D-ring tab the width of your hardware. Then you would fold it in half like this, and then you would just have a simple rectangle piece that would get wrapped around the rectangle with your webbing, just like this, and your D-ring tab. So this does add an extra layer with the D-ring, but it shouldn't be too much since this is still a single layer of webbing, and it looks just as nice. So that is certainly an option if you would prefer to go that route. Alrighty, let's put this strap together. So first off, we're going to start with the smaller piece of webbing. We will need our rectangle ring, the D-ring portions, whatever you end up using if you're going to do the rectangle route or this fancy route. You need some glue or your double-sided tape, one of the strap ends, and then a swivel clasp. So I don't know if you've already noticed, it is important that we use a self-healing textile. So I'm using vinyl for this. Leather is great, even cork. You don't want to use fabric because these edges will be left raw and they will fray if you're using fabric. I do find for this next step that whatever method you're doing, if you can already glue the D-ring tabs together so the D-ring is stabilized, it is way easier for these next steps, because if you try to do it all in the same step, the D-ring likes to shimmy out of place and it's more difficult to work with. So either use your double-sided tape to hold this in place or add some glue, as I've done already, to get this in place. Now I'm just going to take some glue. I did lay down a rubber mat to protect my work surface, but I'm going to apply the glue to the backside of this entire piece. If you're doing the rectangle piece, that's what you're applying the glue to. So just like this. I do also keep a leather rag, edge paint rag handy in case you kind of get it on the backside. So go ahead and take the D-ring or the rectangle ring and put it right in the middle and lay one end of your webbing down. Now I'm going to flip it to the side so I could see the angled edges are perfectly lined up, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and clip it in place to give it a chance to dry. I tend to do all of these accent pieces first and then do all my sewing at once as well. So just give it a chance to sit there and dry just like this. Alternately, if you are doing the rectangle ring, you're holding it over just like that, so it should look very similarly. Then I'm going to repeat that process with the swivel clasp end. So I do have to thread my swivel clasp on. I let the swivel clasp fall to the back side, and then I'm going to add some glue. All right, so now that it's got adequate amount of glue, we are just going to add it to this bottom edge. I did cut it just a smidge wider so that I have enough that I can fold it over and catch the leather edges to seal that side. So I will hold it again with the clips here. And then just double check all of the edges are nice and aligned. You can see right here, so that I can catch all the edges when I go to sew it. So this portion is going to be, just give it a chance to dry, and then we'll add our strap adjuster. Now grab the really long piece of webbing, smooth it out, it wants to naturally curl. We're going to take the strap adjuster and we're going to wrap it around one of the ends. So you come up from one side, over the bar, and back down. And then I'm just going to do a double fold to the back side like this, and I will sew a row of stitches. Just going to clip that in place just like this. And now we're going to take this loose end, make sure it's not twisted, and we're going to come up through the back side of the rectangle ring, and we're going to pull it all the way so we can loop it over the strap adjuster. So we're going up the right hand side and down the left hand side just like this. And now it should all be pretty side face up. So just like that and just like that. And now we're left with this end, which we're going to go ahead and repeat the gluing of this with the swivel clasp, thread it on, and allow it to dry. Just like that. Now, as we get ready to sew the strap accents in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out to this narrow foot. This will allow the edge of my foot to butt up against my hardware and get as close to the edge as possible. And then I'm also dialing down my stitch length to about a 2.5 because I want to have really tight control over how close I get to the edge and around these corners. But if you're continuing your maintaining your stitch length of like a 4, you might come really close but go off, and if you try and shorten your stitch to make it meet in the corner, you'll definitely notice the adjustment that you make when the stitches are starting off really big and going down too small. So just going to go ahead and swap to a narrow foot so I can get nice and close to my hardware. With this webbing, you can see there is a right and a wrong side, so I had everything threaded so that the right side is showing across the whole length of the strap. That is important. So when I do my stitching, I am stitching from the top side because we're going to go ahead and pull the threads to the back so it looks like a nice continuous stitch. There's no back stitches noted or anything like that. The good thing about this water-based adhesive is even though I got it all over the top of my strap, I can just take some water and wash that off. And then there's no obnoxious smell, which is a big plus. So I'm going to start with the front side, like I said, of my strap. Get oriented this way. And I do a lot of hand cranking for this because I want to be really precise in getting to the corners and straight stitching. So I drop my needle down in the corner, I leave my thread tails long, and I'm going to hold on to them as I kind of get the stitch going. And then stay as close to the edge as possible. That is what will give you the best looking strap. So I hand crank so I can hit right at the corner, and then with my needle down I can pivot. Again, so we're coming right up the edge. This will seal the edges of the vinyl. Hand crank into the corner, pivot, take a few stitches, and then see how my narrow foot will allow me to ride just next to my hardware. Keep my needle down, and then when I come this way, I'm worried about the rough edges of my feet here, so I just kind of put something to prevent the metal from sitting on the portion of the strap accent that wraps around the swivel clasp and even my hardware. So I just kind of prop it up on something, piece of fabric. In this case, it's just a clip. And then I'm hand cranking into the corner and then continuing up the side. Now you can see how I left these thread tails long. While it's convenient for me, I'm going to go ahead and give it a gentle tug so you can see that loop form. And then I'm going to pull my thread to the back side. And I'm just hand cranking this final straightaway because I want to be precise. And I'm going to drop my needle right in the very first stitch that I left off, where I started at. Again, leave your thread tails long so you can see how you can get nice and close to your strap. Make sure you get both sides. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Just scrapes off, but like I said, it will wash off because it is water-based. So now I'm going to go ahead and give that another gentle tug to pull all my thread tails to the back side. I will knot that off and it will look beautiful from the front. You can see coming really close to the edge, it does seal these sides together. You're not seeing any of the webbing and it looks really nice just like that. And you're crunching both sides because we are lining up the both ends before we sew. I know a lot of people struggle with this step, and I feel like the biggest issue people are having is they're coming in too far to the center. They're leaving like a 1/4 inch, and then these are flopping open and you see all the webbing inside and it just doesn't look as clean and as professional as it can. So if I can give you any bit of advice, it is to get as close to the edge as possible after confirming your edges are all aligned beforehand. So by cutting it just a smidge wider than the webbing, it does allow those edges to seal and line up, and you can make sure that you get both sides that way. Let's finish with the other one. And my last tip for this top stitching is, if you can, I would encourage you to use a thread color that matches the accent piece. Gives you also a little bit more cushion for some minor imperfections. Your eye won't be drawn to it if it blends right in. Alrighty, this is the last bit of sewing. I'm going to go ahead and just repeat that same process with this piece. And lastly, don't forget to sew the wraparound portion of your strap adjuster. I'm using a bonded thread, so I just singe the thread tails here to just kind of lock them in place. And my strap is just about done. The only other thing I want to do is I am going to go ahead and add a small rivet right here just for added security there and because I like the look of it. Congrats, your strap is now done. Now we just need to hook it up to our phone. We're grabbing our tether tab. We are sliding it in through the charging hole on our case. Popping the phone back in. There we go. Let's add our gate ring. Just like that. Then you add your straps. Voila, it is so pretty. And look how fun this webbing is. With a little light, it completely changes. Oh, let's see it on.